Encounters Documentary Festival kicked off earlier this week. Now, the focus that has emerged from this year's selection process is the power of womanhood, reflected by the fact that over half of the 40 films selected have got female directors, and many focus on women who have made an indelible mark in history, from Thuli Madonsela to Vivienne Westwood. Now, for the duration of the festival, audiences will have the chance to see this year's top-rated documentaries, each of them breaking new ground in non-fiction filmmaking. Joining us now is Susan Scott, who is the producer and director of the documentary titled Stroop, and Bonne, the narrator of Stroop. Ladies, a very good morning and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Susan, let me start with you. Take us through what the significance of this festival. What is it all about?
Well, the Encounters Film Festival is actually Africa's prestigious documentary film festival, and it's been going for 21 years. And there's 65 films, and there's always a fantastic selection. The curators do a great job of scouring the globe and finding films that have been most talked about at film festivals and done really well. So, for example, we have films that have come in that are Oscar-nominated films that did very well at Sundance, at Hot Docs. So it's wonderful to be able to see these films that have come in from around the globe that are really talked about.
And I would imagine it must be a very tedious task sifting through the world's amazing productions. What's the selection criteria?
Well, obviously, we're both filmmakers, so thankfully we don't have that task. That's up to the festival directors, but I imagine it must be quite a difficult one. But, I've been coming to Encounters for many, many years, not as long as the 21 years that it's been around, but certainly for at least since the early 2000s. And I have seen incredible films that sort of range from all aspects, from Iranian divorce to Russian peasants having to deal with potato famine issues. So it's an incredible look into what's happening around the world. Okay.
Now, Bonne, how do you differentiate between filmmaking and documentary producing?
It's a difficult one. I come from a TV background. I used to present on 50/50, the local nature show on SABC. And but myself and Susan, we decided to make this documentary film called Stroop, Journey into the Rhino Horn War. Yeah. So you take on different roles. I take the viewer sort of through the journey, so I'm the protagonist in the film. I narrate the film, but I also produce it alongside Susan, and we're absolutely thrilled that Stroop has been selected to screen at Africa's premier documentary festival. We've got 5 screenings. We've got 4 in Cape Town happening next week, and we've got 1 in Johannesburg, and that's actually later this afternoon at 5 p.m. at Cinema Nouveau in Rosebank, and we will be there to do a Q&A with the audience. I know there's a couple of tickets still left, and the viewers can go grab a ticket online through Ster-Kinekor, or just pitch up and buy a ticket there.
All right. And we understand that more than half of the films that will be showcased have got female directors. I mean, what does this do for female filmmakers and directors and going into the future?
I think it's wonderful, especially where we come from, wildlife filmmaking. It's always predominantly male filmmakers, and I think as female filmmakers, no matter what genre, you bring something different to the table. Sure. I think you connect differently with characters, and I don't necessarily think it makes it better, but I think we tell the story in a different way. So it's wonderful to see. We've had the #MeToo movement starting last year. So I think it's wonderful to see more representation as directors, as producers, as actors.
Yeah. Now, Susan, having directed Stroop, what's the underlying message there? What stories are you trying to tell us through this documentary?
Well, Stroop is, I think a lot of people see it, we've had incredible media about it because it's done so well, overseas. It was selected for nearly 30 international film festivals, 17 awards. So people go, oh, okay, that's the rhino poaching documentary. But we actually take, a lot of people say to us, it's like a movie, it's like a thriller, it's a wildlife crime thriller, because we actually take the viewer on a journey through what's happening on the ground. So it's an incredible view at the South African heroes on the ground. And I think that's why it had so much worldwide appeal. Because for the first time, we're getting to see what our state prosecutors are doing, what our rangers are doing, the vets, and you know, it really is a unique view. It's not just about the suffering of the rhinos on the ground. Obviously, that's an important part of it, but it's a look at how our heroes are coping with this.
Yeah. So how many films will be showcased at this festival?
65 films.
65.
And you know, you're talking about female directors. We've got South African premiere just coming out of Hot Docs, Dying for Gold, from female director Catherine Meyerberg. So that's a great one to look out for. And we've also got Enver Samuel, the Ahmed Timel film that is also screening. So there's some great films, South African films, as well as the international lineup.
All right. So, Bonne, after watching some of these films, what is it that you want the viewers to learn from them?
Well, you know, documentary films in general ignite conversation,
Yeah.
whether it be about political issues, environmental issues, social issues. And I think what makes this festival really special is the fact that the films are showing in Cape Town, 2 cities, and Johannesburg, and the filmmakers are there when their film screens. We will be there later today. We will be there in Cape Town next week. And what is vital is to engage with the audience, to bring this conversation further and to start debate.
Give us the details again, briefly.
So this afternoon, 5 p.m., our film is screening at Cinema Nouveau in Rosebank. There are still a few tickets left. And next week we're in Cape Town with a couple of screenings, but all the details, where, when, and where you can buy tickets, all on the Encounters Film Festival website.
All right, so Bonne and Susan, thanks to you two ladies for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was Susan Scott and Bonne talking to us about the Encounters Documentary Festival, which is currently taking place. This is Morning Live.